What is up, and welcome to Real Advice in Relationships. I'm your host, Keisha, aka Author K.O. Sterling, and I want to thank you for tuning in to the podcast. As you're enjoying today's episodes, please rate this podcast, share this podcast, but most of all, download the podcast episodes. So sit back, turn up that dial, and enjoy this Southern girl share some real advice in relationships. Hey guys, what is up? This is your girl Keisha, aka Author K.O. Sterling, and I'm back today to do another podcast episode. I hope that this episode finds you well whenever you're listening to it, wherever you're listening to it. I hope that this finds you well. Long time no talk, y'all. It is so good to be back. It is so good to be present in here with you guys on this day of August. I don't know what day you're listening to it, but I will be posting. It is today, July the 31st, but I am going to post this on August the 1st. So this great day of August the 1st of 2021. When I tell you this Alabama weather has been hot, it has been hot. We have been having heat indexes of 106 and 110. It has just definitely been super duper warm, okay? It's been super duper warm here, okay? But at any rate, I hope that this finds you guys well. On today, I wanted to have a particular discussion with you guys. And today's topic, we're going to be talking about the era of self-loathing, okay? The era of self-loathing. I wanted to talk about this particular topic because when you look around now, what I see when I look around is I see so much vitriol and so much disdain that people have towards themselves. And I have never seen this in all of my days. And I'm not that old, but it's just a saying we have in the South. Okay. But in all of my days, I have never seen such hatred people have towards themselves. Okay. And I will always be honest with you guys. I have dealt with so much emotionally, right? And I talk about that in my book, I'm Enough, how I went through a period and I went through phases in my life where I myself dealt with self-loathing. And so I see that a lot amongst this generation, amongst this world, okay? And sometimes I often hear chatter among certain groups that this is the era of narcissism, right? This is an age filled with narcissists. And that is so true. And if you know anything for real about true narcissism or just narcissists, period, they are so selfish. They are extremely selfish, and you would think that the only person that they care about is themselves. Okay, the only person they care about is themselves. However, they don't truly love themselves. They just actually hate you. They just hate you more than they hate themselves, okay? And they treat other people like crap because, again, they hate you more than they hate them, okay? But they do only care about, I wouldn't say, you hear they only care about themselves. They only care about getting what they want. I personally believe they don't really care about themselves because the type of behavior that they sometimes engage in. But anyway, I won't go down that rabbit hole. I don't want to talk too much about, those vampires. I don't even want to give that life on this episode because, yeah. Anyway, back to today's topic. I wanted to address self-loathing, okay? And with an increased use of technology, social media and the use of social media has really allowed people to compare their lives to the highlight reels of someone else's life. And now they may feel like they are worthless. They may feel like they're less than, they're unimportant, ineffective, invaluable, and so on and so forth. Okay? All based off comparison to what somebody else posts. And these toxic thoughts are detrimental to a person's overall well-being. And just for a side note, this isn't just limited to young people. Older people are also dealing with this game of comparison as well. If we really think about it from a young age, if we really just hone in on this, from a young age, we are groomed into accepting this standard of beauty that is already established, right? We come into a world that has this established standard of beauty, okay? We don't know that, but from childhood, we are groomed into accepting this standard of beauty. Okay. And this is done by way of television and cartoons or just various forms of media entertainment. We are led to believe that we must look a certain way, right? We just are. And the people who perpetuate this narrative is done so by someone who has a product to sell you. Let me just say that again. Let me run that by y'all again. For the people in the back who could not hear me, let me say that loud and clearly one more time. The people that perpetuate this narrative of this established standard of beauty, they do so because they want to sell you something, okay? Sure, the writers of the movies and of these different TV shows and things like that, they are giving you a few moments of feel good. They're giving you moments of escapism from your life. But let's be real, everyone wants to look like the princess, especially when you're young. Everyone wants to look like the princess. The lead characters are always deemed as aesthetically pleasing. Okay? Now, let's just look at it this way. Imagine Disney's Beauty and the Beast without the so-called beautiful woman of the story, right? Because our minds have been so conditioned from birth of what true beauty should be. Take her out of the equation. Just take beauty out of the story. And you have the beast without the beauty. And replace the beauty with someone who looked just like him. Or someone who was not as aesthetically pleasing, and place that in front of an audience who has been subconsciously conditioned or trained to look for beauty and gravitate towards things in an aesthetic way. Okay? So when you think about it like that, that entire story may not have had that much appeal because we would just kind of presume that it's two ugly creatures or a plain Jane and a monster getting together because no one else wanted to be bothered with them. Okay? And then unfortunately, you have a lot of people who feel like because they do not look like the princess or the lead character in the movies or the lead character in the TV shows, they may feel like they are not good enough. They may feel like they have a level of resentment or rejection by their communities or their societies because they don't look like what traditional beauty has been projected and perceived to be. They feel like they aren't good enough. I'm not saying this for everybody. I am saying this for some people. Some people deal with this. And this is why I call this the era of self-loathing. Okay? And unfortunately, this negative perception can develop into toxic thoughts. And that within itself can then lead to self-loathing, depression, and anxiety. Y'all, let me say that one more time. The negative perception that can come from these toxic thoughts can develop into self-loathing, depression, and anxiety. Okay? We know that depression and anxiety is at an all-time high. And that was prior to you know what. Okay? That was prior to what's going on with the state of the world with this virus. Okay? Now, because this is real advice in relationships podcast, as it pertains to relationships, I mentioned in the very first episode that before you can be in a relationship with anybody, before you can offer yourself as a whole person, not a other half, but a whole person going into a relationship and y'all working, growing together as a couple and individually. Before you can offer yourself up, you must first learn to accept you. You must first learn to love you. If you are not accepting of yourself, the validation that you seek could lead you into the hands of the wrong person. Let me say that again for the people in the back. Before you can be in a relationship with anyone else, you must first learn to accept yourself. You have to learn to accept you. You have to learn to love you. And if you are not accepting of yourself, the validation that you seek could lead you into the hands of the wrong person. And what you don't want to do is already be on that journey of self-doubt and low self-esteem and end up in the arms of a fool. You don't want to end up in the arms of a monster, y'all. And you are already on the journey of self-doubt and low self-esteem. This would really, really be bad, okay? You would have to work that much more harder to get out of the situation, because we don't know at the end of the day how it's going to end, but that's a recipe for a disaster, and that's not going to end well, okay? When the truth of the matter is, you would have been better off just staying single, okay? There's nothing wrong with being single, and it's okay to, march to the beat of your own drum until you meet somebody who wants what you want, who is growing and going in the direction that you are growing and going into, okay? All right? So, but as I close today, I want to encourage you to take the time necessary to learn who you are and be more kind to yourself. And if that means taking time off of social media and taking social media breaks, then do that. This is definitely true of highly sensitive people. I would consider myself to be somewhat sensitive. And I just do not do well with constant social media. I am one of those people. I need breaks. Okay, so I encourage you to give your brain a rest from being worked on and conditioned. Okay, the human spirit is affected positively or negatively on a daily basis by the things that you consume. I'll say that again. The human spirit is affected positively or negatively on a daily basis by the things that you consume. What does this mean, Keisha? Well, I am glad that you asked. What you watch, what you read, what you listen to, all impact your mind, your body, and your spirit. The things that you consume, what you watch, what you read, and what you listen to impact your mind, your body, and your spirit, whether you believe it or not. It does impact you. You may not want to accept that, but this is a scientific proven fact, y'all. Media entertainment fights for your attention. And advertisers pay a lot of money to get in front of your eye gaze. Because the movies and the TV shows have already shown you what desirability looks like. The movies and the TV shows have already shown you what desirability looks like. Then what advertisers do, since we have already been worked on and conditioned by the TV shows and the movies, they come in and they capitalize off of our envy or our desire to look like the person everyone gravitates towards. The lead character in the movie, the lead character, the princess in the movie, the beauty in the Beauty and the Beast, okay? The lead character in the TV shows and the movies. They then can sell us anti-aging cream or plumping lipstick or eyelash extensions, right? Because they know that there are a lot of people out there that don't feel pretty, that don't feel as confident in their physical appearance. They know that we are in an era of self-loathing. And this era of self-loathing is an open market, and it is a market to make plenty of money. Because if they can work on you to make you not feel good about yourself, then they have convinced you that you need to seek out validation outside of yourself to want to enhance that beauty. And there's nothing wrong with wanting to be beautiful. That's okay. But I think it's high time that we start to have a conversation. What is true beauty? What is true beauty? Okay. And that may be something that we elaborate on further in a future podcast episode. But again, I hope that this finds you well. Thank you guys for joining me today. And I hope that this finds you well whenever you're listening to this, wherever you're listening to it. I hope that this finds you well. And until we talk again, it's your girl Keisha signing off. Peace, y'all. Bye. And remember to love yourself in this era of self-loathing. Hey guys, be sure to go to my website, klsterling.wixsite.com/I'm enough. That's klsterling.wixsite.com/I'm enough. There you can find links to all of my social media platforms, shirts, books, and did I mention I offer free ebooks? Yes, when you go to my website, klsterling.wixsite.com/I'm enough, click on the ebooks link and it will take you directly to the free ebooks that I offer. I look forward to seeing you guys there. Bye.